episode 4.
What's up? What's up?
4.
Yeah, we moving fast.
I dead thought it was episode 3. I'm so off for like.
I did too. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna let you go
eyeballs.
down by yourself. I did too.
I did thought it was episode.
I didn't. I thought it was episode 4.
All right, we get it. You heard me. We get it. But we got a few things to talk about. Oh, sorry, your girl Kayla here with DWAYNE.
What's up?
We got
What's
back
up?
our uncle Anton
Yes.
with us and did a via FaceTime, but he's still here with us.
From the other side of the world.
No location if you don't want them stalking you.
Exactly.
But
So what we want?
we
Just
was
get straight
gonna.
into it.
We're kind of gonna like start off where we left off last week.
Yeah.
With the whole Nipsey Hussle thing for a little bit. Literally as we were finishing the podcast, like we found out the news, and we couldn't even dwell on it much, mainly from not just emotion, but just like time. But
Well, information. When we found out last week, it was like just happened.
yeah, we didn't know like what the final was until probably a few hours later. But
Right.
it was definitely, it feels bad. Like me personally, I'm not gonna flex. Like I think I have maybe like 2 of his songs on my phone. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like I wasn't like heavy on his music, but a lot of people have been saying, you know, even though you didn't really know him or know his music, like what he was doing was impactful enough, you know, for you to even just feel it, you know. So it was rough, you know. And the streets was angry at first. Like they was angry.
I mean, they still are.
I mean, no, they are. Like, I felt bad. The dude who did it, like, I felt bad. Like, I'm like, if the police don't get to him, somebody's gonna get to him. Like, it was pretty scary. Like, but what gets me upset is the fact that he legit has, like, the best lawyer right now. And I just want to know, how he affording that.
I wouldn't necessarily call Donner
he wasn't the
best lawyer. I feel like
because he lost the OJ case.
yeah, I think he's one of the most prolific disgraced lawyers in my opinion.
True.
He's once again on the losing side of this, but more
like
power to him.
how? Because he's being, apparently this is what they're saying, that he's somebody is paying for it, but it's privately funded. So I'm just like, is that not weird? Is that not sketchy? Like I'm not trying to throw out any more theories than there already is, right?
Yeah,
but
a lot of those going around.
I'm just saying, it just sounds funky to me. Like
it does, and it to me it feels like this is all something that was been in the works for a while. But I try not to let, and I think it's important that, you know, because of everything that's happened in the past week, that we prioritize what we focus on. I think right now the focus should be on Nipsey's family, his message, the things that he was trying to do positively for the streets and for the culture. I'm not professing to say that I know exactly what happened. I know what first-hand accounts were told, and I know what conspiracies are out there. But I don't want to. We could touch on that because I think it's good conversation to have, right? But I think first we just have to focus on his message, like you said, which I think you said perfectly. You don't really necessarily have to be a fan of his music, right? To really be a fan of the person that he was, even if you didn't know who that was until his untimely demise. But the fact that you now seeing the impact that he had, I think, you know, you just as a person, you can have empathy for that. You know, you can have empathy for loss. You can have empathy for a family grieving. You can have empathy for children losing a parent. You know, there's human elements to this story that we have to touch on. And I feel like it's really irresponsible for the people that say, "Oh, now y'all want to show love." I think it's really irresponsible. You know, we have to be careful. You know, the kind of message that we putting out there, because there's real people. Everybody, it seems, is affected one way or another for mostly different reasons. I know that for me, it wasn't so much the music, but just so much more of the movement. You know, I think Dave E said it best, and only thing I can do is kind of paraphrase what he said when he had the candlelight in Lafayette in Brooklyn. He said, you know, this is right after Nipsey's passing. You know, yeah, this is tough. Yeah, I just want to apologize ahead of time for this episode because it's been hard on me personally. You know, I've been trying to put my head around it and express the situation. That honestly, I haven't really talked to nobody about it, but it's tough. You know, I like back to what I was saying about Davies. I didn't grow up around or was really much conscious about hip hop when I was a kid when Pac and Biggie died. So I didn't really feel the impact. I just saw the impact that it's had. I seen the impact in other people's grieving. I seen the impact in the rap culture. I seen it in pop culture, but I didn't feel it, right? And Dave said it best, but this I feel, and it hit close to home for a lot of people, for many different reasons. I just for everybody just to focus on continuing his legacy, continuing the marathon, continuing the culture that he was trying to set forth in the streets. And that was a peaceful culture. It wasn't gang related culture. Nipsey might have came from that background, but he was trying to preach peace for years. For years. I mean, even before he really got heavy into the rap game, he was really pushing for peace in the streets. And he felt like now was the right time to really push a certain message of peace in the streets. He had a conversation with Kendrick, Snoop, Top Dog, and oh man, it was somebody else, I forgot. But they were all having a conversation about bringing gangs together and coming to one accord so that the streets are safer, man. And it's unfortunate, it's ironic that the very thing that he was trying to change is the thing that took him out. You know, he was trying to change the hate, and it was the hate that took him. You know, so I just really want people to pay attention. I want people to be responsible. There's other things that we're gonna touch on regarding this Nipsey situation, but you know, I really just want to handle it delicately because this man wasn't just beloved in hip hop. He wasn't just beloved in by his family. He was beloved by so many strangers across the world that probably wasn't a fan of hip hop, was just a fan of his movement. You know, and I want to celebrate the man, celebrate the music, celebrate the message. And celebrate his energy, because despite his flesh not being here with us, you can still feel his energy. So,
because I think a lot of people they're focused on just continuing it. Like a lot of times people get like blurred vision when stuff like this happens, whether that's anger, hurt, and like what's most important is realizing what the person was trying to do and you know what they would want you to do now that they're not here. He would want this to continue. He would want his movement and what he was trying to do while he was here to progress, rather than, you know, using it to point fingers at who's the bad guy. You know, we're trying to eliminate the bad guys, not make more of them. So it's like,
right.
You know, you kind of gotta take the high road, even though sometimes you may not want to. What about you, Unc? Were you into his music, or did you really know much about him? No.
I didn't know too much about Nipsey Hussle, so I really haven't heard any of his music. So.
I'm the same. I really didn't. What about you, Dave? What was your take on his music, or did you listen to his music, or?
I didn't. I mean, there was like one song he did with Kendrick on his last album that I listened to. That was dope. And then I really knew him because, no lie, there was a song he had on a video game that I played. So I knew that song quite often because I listened to it all the time. There's a song he did with CeeLo Green called Loaded Bases, which was on the baseball game. So that's how I knew his music. I knew of him. I never really listened. His music honestly never really was anything I connected with. So, but I understood what he was trying to do. I knew that, you know, he was independent. He owned a lot of his masters. he was the true definition of a independent artist, and that started sort of a movement between other artists to go independent. Now you get artists like Chance who's independent. I think Nip got nominated for a Grammy for the first time for best rap album. That's only because what he started and Chance sort of continued, which is to push the Grammys to recognize like these independent artists and albums that are released for free to people. He sort of started that whole movement. So I followed that because I follow hip hop quite often. So I knew what he did, but I couldn't say I was like a huge fan of his music. It's just that because we lose another artist. It's like I think people forget the amount of A-list hip hop artists we've lost within like the last, I want to say, year, 12 months or so. Like I think people forget still like we lost Mac Miller. He's not here anymore. You know what I mean? So like certain people we no longer are going to be able to listen to or get new music from because of things that could have been prevented.
Nah, for sure. Nah, it's been a major loss in hip hop the past year. It's been tough. You know, we lost young ones too. We lost X last summer. We lost Lil Peep to unfortunate drug overdose. I think, but you know, if we can take anything from these tragedies, it's let's just create conversation. Let's just create dialogue. You know, let's just build with what we off of what we lost. You know, I think I've been trying to go back and forth if I could even find a positive in this. And I really want to, and I probably will. But hindsight hasn't hit me yet. So I'm not really operating.
There is a positive. You know what I mean? I think the positive already existed before the tragedy. You know? I think because of artists like Nip, I think because of what he was doing, it shed light on a lot of other people to be entrepreneurial business people, you know, and so now we see more and more people willing to, instead of buying material, they're buying investment, which is important. You know what I mean? Artists you wouldn't even think of are buying or are investing rather than just going to buy the material thing that's not going to last for a long time, but the investment might. So the positive's already been there. It's just sad that there couldn't have been more positive to build on.
Yeah, I would like for us, and I would like for the industry to take wind to the positive messages that certain individuals put out there. And the reason why it's hard for me to find a positive in that is because I don't want for somebody to lose their life, for people to wake up. And unfortunately, a lot of times death does do that. You know, it sheds light to areas that we once weren't paying attention to. It's unfortunate. It's hard for me to find a positive in that. You know, it may be based off emotion, but I'd much rather see him here and people get it, you know, than have him lose his life for people to really see that change is needed. But like you said, that it goes back. Let's segue because it kind of goes into this Kodak Black situation. That I know. Are y'all familiar with it? Did y'all see it?
Yeah, I saw
it.
I saw it on Twitter. With the whole Kodak thing, you know, I feel like it just kind of sheds a lot of light on how much young rappers nowadays don't have a good sense of like respect in the game. Like you can't, like they really struggle to separate work and personal. Like you're human first. You respect the next person before your craft. Like you can have good craft and not have to disrespect someone else. Like if this was okay, I'm saying that like I was born in like the 80s, but I'm just saying from what I've heard and how wild things were. Like had he done something like that back in the day where people were really crazy, like I mean they still kind of are crazy, but like
sure.
It's just like I don't get why young rappers nowadays can't find that respect. Like everybody has to be trolls. Him, Nathan's favorite rapper, 6ix9ine. Like they're all trolls, and they do it so that they can progress. I'm gonna say in quotes because I don't see that as much progression. I see that as temporary. But like they do it to progress, and it's just like you just lose in the end. Like you look crazy, you look dumb. Nobody's supporting that. How are you gonna say it hasn't even been a week? Well, it's been a week today, but like, how can you have such lack of respect for the next man and his family to say something like that? And if y'all don't know what he said, basically, he said he'll give Lauren London a year before he basically shoots his shot. And it's like, bruh, by making that rap or that line, it was just like you barely gave her a week. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think it's corny, and like young rappers need to do better, because they're not even gonna get a piece of the respect or a piece of the opportunity to be called legend by doing moves like that. Like I think that's just corny. Personally.
I agree. I think it's tasteless. It shows lack of class. I don't wanna generalize this generation and say that it's a generational issue, because I feel like some of the same people that were calling him out are hypocrites because they're victim to it as well. I think the game, which I mean, he's been in 3 different conversations about sleeping with bringing up him sleeping with married women years ago. I mean, they weren't married at the time, but they are now. And to speak on your sexual encounters with that person, it's uncalled for. So I feel like it's a little hypocritical for him to speak out on it. I know circumstances are very different, but we just got to be accountable and be responsible. Once again, man, I just feel like Kodak is a little different than 6ix9ine in this sense. I truly, when I saw the video, I truly just felt like he was ignorant. I feel like 6ix9ine was stupid. I think it's 2 different. They're operating under 2 different levels of consciousness. Like 6ix9ine knows what he's doing. He knows it, and he's doing it anyway because there's an end game for him. Kodak, I just think he's ignorant. I just feel like he just needs to learn these tough lessons that's about to come his way. I just don't want us to. This is not the time to be violent. This is not the time for us to separate. This is a teaching moment for him. I just hope that he moves correctly. I hope that he gives a proper apology. For the record, Kodak, if you apologize, don't right after the apology say, "But I didn't do it." You negating your apology. You know, apologize like a man. Just say, "I apologize." You know, everybody messes up. You know, nobody's perfect. But the fact that you're doing what you're doing right now, you know that even if that's not what your intentions were, you gotta come in front of this. You can't just continue to put more pressure on the situation by saying, "Y'all could come see me." It's not even that type of energy that everybody wants to be on right now. It's not the type of energy we should be on. So as far as Kodak is concerned, man, I just, like Nipsey said it best in the interview, you just gotta let clown things just come and go. Like, you gotta let clowns perform, you know, but don't give it energy. Just let them perform to themselves. Like, we giving him way too much energy right now. We giving the situation way too much energy. There's better things to focus on at this point right now. Like I said, his message, keep pushing that.
Yeah, I just feel like it's like that right now because the wound is still fresh. It's like he's picking at something that people are still. It's a week.
He's not even in the ground,
bro. Like this. It's a sensitive topic that people are still healing, and they're going to be for the rest of their life, if anything. People who was close to him for the rest of his life, for the rest of their life. So it's like to do it in a week and pick at something so sensitive like that. Like, granted, we're nobody's perfect. We're gonna react through emotion, you know.
Can anybody tell me right now? Because I was alive at the time, but again, I wasn't really checking for like newspaper articles on Pac and Big dying. I've never seen in my lifetime a celebrity being mourned the way Nip is by so many different areas of life. I mean, I've never seen this much respect come from law enforcement for a rapper. for the loss of a rapper, I haven't seen law enforcement mourn as if it's one of theirs. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, that's big.
You know, it's pretty nuts to me. I seen public transportation in LA put NIP on the bus for Nip on Slauson and Crenshaw. I thought that was amazing. You see people crying who didn't know him but worked near the shop. I heard a story this lady told that her husband was an electrician and he used to work on the street lights. Nip used to come out there all the time and tell him how much of a good job he was doing. He appreciated the work that he was doing for the community. And he used to always tell him, you know, come in the shop, let me get you some gear, you know, lace you with some merchandise. And he said, no one's ever really thanked me for being good at my job. No one's ever showed me that level of appreciation. So when the situation went down, he texted his wife and he was crying. He called his wife and he was crying and she asked him what's wrong. He said that same store owner that I told you about was shot and killed. I had no idea that it was Nipsey Hussle, and he broke down and she said her husband's a simple man. He doesn't, you know, really communicate with much people, but that shows the level of impact that Nipsey had on people, not just through his music, but just him as a person. He was just a solid, well-rounded individual. You don't get that many people like that. You know, there's a lot of people that speak good, but Nipsey was good. He was good. Nipsey, why this really hurts to the core is because everything that we wanted rappers to do, he was doing it. He did everything that we wanted him to do. Everything that Pac spoke about, Nipsey was doing. He brought businesses to the hood. He gave real estate back to the hood. He put businesses out there. He employed people that came out of jail and that couldn't get a job because of their record. He was doing everything that we asked for a rapper, man. And I mean, he was just, that's why they call him Neighborhood Nip, because he would just be in different areas in LA, in the hood, rival territories, but he was good. He was Nip. And that's why this hurts so much, because it's like we champion this idea and somebody's living this idea, and this hate is enough to take that out.
But I think it's important. I think a lot of times I get during the hurt, and initially it's like it's hard to see the glass half full, but it's like we still have that hope. We still have, it's not a lot of them.
Yep.
But we still have rappers out there and people out there who can still take what he was doing and progress it even more. So we just have to have that hope that they do it right and they do it with the right intentions. Because there's plenty. If I can name three, I could probably name three. I'm going to do two. I would say Jay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to stay with Jay.
I mean, we could go down the line. I mean, there's a lot of rappers. I mean, T.I., Meek, Cole for sure, Kendrick. Like, there's rappers that do so much for the community. Why this feels different is Nip was of the people. He was there. Nip was in the neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see Meek doing the same thing, and I love it, man. I love when I see rappers like that, but there's not many of them. And there's not many of them on that level, because we have a lot of activists that are rappers that unfortunately are not in the position of power that certain rappers are in. But Nip was not only coming into his own as a rapper, he was about to hit mainstream on a new level. But the fame never showed on him, man. And it's crazy to see how we wanted this for so long. Like, we wanted this for so long, and it was right there, and it could just get taken away by somebody who's envious and jealous because whatever reasons, man. But
I don't see it being taken away. I just see it being at a halt, but that don't mean I don't see it being, you know, completely taken away. I'm just seeing it paused right now, and I think it is necessary because you want people to do things right. You don't want them to do it out of emotion, and that's what a lot of people are acting out right now. So, I mean, I still see, like, at the end of the tunnel, it's hard, but like.
I hear what everybody's saying. I've been seeing that a lot, and I feel like again, it comes down to we just gotta stop being violent towards each other, because the movement should not have to continue without Nip. We should not have to. We should not have to do this for him. Nip should be continuing to lead the charge. He should still be amongst us so that we can bear arms with him. You know, the movement is. You're right. I 1,000% agree. The movement is not stopped. It's not even paused. It's gonna continue going. Like, we're not gonna stop. You know, like what we doing right now is exactly what we should be doing. Shedding light on the positivity, shedding light on his message and what he was trying to do. You know, but yeah, what else we got on top as far as the Nip situation?
Just basically that. I mean, I don't want to dwell too much on the negatives on it because there's so many positives. It's just I don't think people are really gonna see it until it happens. So
I think people are seeing it now. I think
they're seeing it. It's just
more and more.
I'm just saying more and so intact of people really not them just seeing it as like a gimmick of trying to get my words straight because I feel like I have to say everything correctly in this kind of topic like this. But I just think, you know, you have to let time do its job. And I'm not saying, like when I was saying pause, you know, it's just more so of we're just human. Like we need time to heal so that we could do things right. Like if this happened yesterday, I don't expect people to go out there and do everything we just said that we're trying to do the next day. Like that ain't fair at all. Like if we're gonna do it right, we gotta do it with the right mindset and the right mentality. So just let time do its job. Don't take too much time, of course, but I'm just saying, like, don't feel like because he's not here, you're pressured to make everything happen within the next year. This is a progress. This is progress. This is something we have to take time with to progress. So,
right.
I mean, I'm trying to think of a good, nice little segue to just.
Well, I'm gonna say this to transition. Again, let's just continue to just celebrate his message. Let's just continue to love each other, spread positivity. Continue to show those that you love, that you care about, that you care for them. You know, you just never know. Anybody that's ever had to deal with a major loss, you know, that you'd give anything to just hear that person say they love you again. You know, or even you say it to them. So let's do it while everybody's here. You know, give them the flowers while they can still smell it. I wanted to speak about Lauren London for a moment, just for a small moment.
Oh, how she's going through with it.
Yeah, that I just wanted to. I wanted to speak about. There was a video that had came out of her at the hospital when she first found out. I found that extremely disgusting. We didn't touch on that yet, but there was videos. First of all, the video of Nipsey lying lifeless in the street, disgusting. People are just scumbags. I mean, everything has to be for views, and it's disgusting.
I would agree and disagree, though. I could play devil's advocate on that one.
But see, that's the thing. And I've seen people play devil advocate alongside of that, but that has no place on the internet. Showing somebody's lifeless body.
I disagree.
I
could play devil's advocate.
Speak on it.
I can disagree because the internet has given us powers that us as a people have never had before, and a lot of the times what happens is what's put out there is not the truth. We know this, right? What the internet has given us and what technology has given us is an ability to monitor and police ourselves. I know necessarily sometimes that is not a good thing, but sometimes without that thing, a lot of things would go unseen. And because they go unseen and we know things aren't in our advantage, what happens a lot of the time is we become the people who hurt the most. So I agree. I think watching it, I think it's up to the person watching it to also think about, do I as a person right now, knowing the gravity of the situation, knowing within the video, should I watch this? As much as it's on the person, should I record this? But do know this: without certain recordings, without people recording, I'm not just talking Nipsey Hussle here. I'm just talking in general. Without certain recordings, there are a lot of details that would stay in the dark that go to our disadvantage. I'm not saying those sort of things aren't sensitive. And again, if you don't want to watch it, I encourage you not to watch it. But if we allow other communities to surveil us and we don't do it ourselves, what's going to happen ultimately is there are going to be a lot of mistakes made. That's my devil's advocate on that.
I see what you're saying. I think again, it's a disgusting act. I think the war on sensory is one conversation. Recording a man dead on the floor is something completely different. You don't record somebody lifeless, especially somebody like Nip, who was of the people, of your community, that did everything for your community. A man that personified class and integrity. That is not something that should be on the internet. That is not an image that beholds a character like Nipsey. And it doesn't have anything to do with sensory. It has everything to do with integrity. And though we should have the right to record and post whatever we want on the internet, when does our integrity come into question? When do we ever say, you know what, that's not for the internet? When do we ever say, you know what, I'm going to just hold back? That's not for everybody. We don't check ourselves enough, and that's the problem. That's why we have social media warriors who feel like everything is content because they don't want to be silenced, but they don't understand that integrity has to come into play at some point. We don't have a lot of integrity in this world.
So I agree. And in terms of the Nipsey Hussle one, the way I saw it was less of, because the internet's a place. That's what I'm gonna say. The internet's a place, and I've seen a lot of things on the internet. But in the Nipsey Hussle one, in particular, when there is a lot of uncertainty, for instance, when the news broke, when I told you guys last week before the show ended, all we knew was that 3 guys were shot in front of Nipsey Hussle's store. Rumor had it that Nipsey was one of the people, right? Rumor had it. Without that video, media, cops would have taken their time letting the public know who it was. Am I right or wrong?
If you giving me a choice between that and seeing that video, I choose waiting.
No. I know. I'm not giving you a choice. I'm just saying. But the cops gonna take their time letting people know who died, who got shot, blah blah blah. With that video, while it may not be something a lot of people want to see, the information can get confirmed a lot faster. People can be notified a lot quicker. You know what I mean? And things can move in motion before it really gets crazy.
See that? But that's the problem right there, bro. We've moved into the society where everything has to be so fast and instant that we sacrifice our integrity in the process. Like, you don't have to have that information in 2 minutes compared to having it in 8 or 10. Like, you just got to be patient, exercise integrity. We don't got to sacrifice that in order to give information. Everybody want to be first to give out information, but nobody's focusing on how accurate the information is. That's the difference between a reporter with integrity and just somebody that just has a camera phone.
But the information was pretty accurate, right?
No, that's not. I mean, that's not the point. I mean, the point is
no,
really.
I'm not saying that's the point. I'm just saying, but the information was accurate.
Yeah, the information was accurate, but again, I mean, that's not the point. The point is, it shouldn't have been out there in the first place. Like, we could have got that. I could have waited until here. I would have rather waited to hear who got killed, if he got killed, what the circumstances were. I would have rather waited. I don't want to see that, and again, it's not just about what I want to see. It's about integrity and what that man stood for. That image of him should never be out there. And for it to come from his own community, once again, it's disgraceful.
Yeah, I disagree, but I can understand people's viewpoint.
It's like we gotta draw a line in the sand, y'all. Like, where do we stop? Like, where's the end point with that?
I don't think there is one, and you can't.
That's scary.
I don't think there'll ever really be one, because we already live in a corrupt world. So even if we still had Nip here and he was still doing his work and he was in his neighborhood different neighborhoods and trying to do different things. It's like, as much as we would love it to be 100%, not everybody is gonna have that same mentality. It could be down to the 99.999%. It's always gonna be that one person, or those two people, or those 10 people, or that 1%. It's just nothing's gonna change, and I don't feel like we're ever really gonna escape it. It's always gonna be someone who's corrupt in their state of mind, you know. So we're really never gonna escape it. It's more just so, you know, just trying to minimize it as best we can.
Right. The person who recorded it probably didn't go in the state of mind of like, yo, I'm gonna put this out there because it's malicious and blah blah blah. But they're just like, yo, let me capture this information. And sometimes everything moves so fast. That's the first thing people are thinking about. And I know a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, well, you know, the first thing shouldn't be for you to pick up your phone and record. But our devices are so inherently us nowadays that it helps us sort of rationalize or see what's happening, even if it's after the fact. You know what I mean? Again, when I say this, I say it in a way where you can't let other people control your narrative. A lot of the times, that's what with the Chris Darden situation. You know what I mean? It's all a publicity thing. The media and the guy and Chris Darden know what they're doing. They're controlling the narrative away from the fact of how great Nipsey was in his community. And now, what is everybody talking about? No one's talking about how great Nip was a week later. Well, instead, we're talking about the fact that, this guy got Chris Darden as his lawyer. We're talking about the fact that Kodak Black was disrespectful. It's all narrative at the end of the day. So someone has to control the story. And it's better to capture these moments, be it good or bad. You know what I mean? The technology is not there for it to destroy anybody. But, you know, again, like I said, I believe it was there to make a record of something. It'd be different if we saw Nick get shot with clear video. I mean, there is the security footage that was leaked online. It's really blurry, so you can't really see anything. But, you know, it'd be one thing if we saw him get shot. Like, there are videos of like that do exist. On World Star and stuff like that. Not of Nip, but of other crimes that are committed. But we didn't. The person got him when the ambulance was performing the CPR, when you know, he was lying on the ground the initial time and they turned him over, and all we saw were the red shorts. You know, that's how people were able to confirm it actually was Nip before the police even did.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like when it, again, I've gotten more information outside of that video regarding the situation than the video itself. So the video didn't serve a purpose. I feel like I disagree with the person posting it with the intention of being I guess a hood reporter. There was no reporting being done. The only thing that he was doing was capturing chaos and a man lying on the floor lifeless. I don't think he had any intention of reporting anything. I didn't hear any reports from the video. There was nobody giving accounts as to what was happening at the moment. Somebody was just trying to capture something to put it out there because people like to be clout chasers. I'm not glorifying. Look, I'm gonna say this. I'm all with documenting. I'm all with maintaining your own narrative. But if that was really the intention of this person, then why not hold the video until you saw stories that were contradicting what you saw and then said, you know what, despite these lies, this is what happened. That's responsible. You just posting videos because you just want to be the first one to be on the subject. That's nonsense. And again, that's classless. So again,
it would be my argument to what you just said, which is, you said why not wait? You know, when they didn't wait, those stories weren't able to propagate. If they would have waited, those stories would have propagated, and then they would have released the video to disprove them. So the outcome would have been the same regardless of when it was released.
Wait, say that last part again.
I said the outcome would have been the same regardless if it was released. I actually believe that
What
the
outcome?
video was the outcome of like trying to. In your instance, you said why not wait until the video until people start making up stories to release the video to be like, nah, this is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
On the reverse of that, it's like they released the video so those rumors aren't even able to propagate because we already know what happened. You know what I mean?
But that's the problem. That's what I'm saying. You released the video, and you're trying to come from the perspective of that this person wanted to report what was going on, and I'm telling you that no, it didn't seem like that at all. It didn't seem like the person wanted to report what was going on. We didn't get any context or clarity. In fact, we seen somebody with red shorts, tattoos, with a towel over their face. We didn't even know that was Nipsey until it was confirmed in reports. So,
but the only way we were able to know it was confirmed is because someone who knew what Nipsey was wearing. Again, the person by themselves, I'm not saying is a reporter. They're just a piece of a report.
I get it. I completely get it. I feel like you can do all of that without having to put that video out. There's proper channels for that. There's reasons why police have reports and they put police reports out. Now, you could say you don't agree with it. Again, if the reports contradict what you saw, then release the video and say, despite what they're saying, this is what happened. That would show responsibility. That would show that you're trying to maintain some type of integrity. But you just recording the video and putting it out, man. I don't see the integrity in that. I don't see it.
I don't ever trust police. Not because I'm not I just don't trust police. But you remember the initial report? They were like, oh, it's gang related. It had nothing to do with gang relations.
No, I didn't. But it wasn't.
Always get it wrong when it comes to minority community. They will always get it wrong.
But it wasn't necessarily. When they say gang related, I know the first thing that comes to mind is somebody that he probably had beef with from a rival gang probably came in and did it. But in a sense, it did have something to do with the gang and street culture because the person was a snitch. They wasn't Nipsey. You didn't want him around in the area. And that's what happened. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it had more to do to me it had more to do with toxic masculinity and the fragile male ego than it did gang relations. The guy just couldn't handle being not being in Nipsey's circle anymore and not getting what he wanted. And again, they will always say it's gang related because it propagates a narrative. Anytime a person of color dies, especially when it's between two guys, it has to be gang related.
I agree, but let me ask you this question: how did the video of him being lifeless on the floor prove that it wasn't gang related?
It doesn't. But you take that away, and you tell people, you know what, it's not right. And if people stop trying to report and police ourselves, what's going to happen is we're going to leave that narrative to those people. I'm not saying this particular instance it helped. But there are other instances in where it can and will help.
But see, this is where I actually disagree, because there was enough first-hand accounts for people that was actually there who got shot, people there that were in the store, and around the area to give accounts to exactly what happened. And on top of that, they released the footage from the store cameras around the parking lot. So there's really
like 2 days later they did. No, I agree with you.
I'm just saying that there was enough information out there for us to get the full story. I know the family wouldn't have let the media or the police write and say whatever they wanted about Nip. I know for a fact that they would have controlled the narrative with not only the video that they had in their cameras, but for their first-hand account. So Nip's story was getting told regardless. That video did nothing for us. It did nothing but expedite who got killed. And why does that have to be the case? Why can't we just wait?
No, I agree.
Everything gotta be so instant.
In this one instance, because Nip is a celebrity, it works.
No, yeah,
Go ahead, Munch.
No, that's what I was gonna feed off too. Cause I mean, we gotta be at least a tad bit honest with ourselves. Like if we go back to our podcast at the end, right when we found out that he got shot, and we look at that screen, we can see literally almost every single one of us on our phones scrolling like our life depended on it to look for anything to say either it was or it wasn't him. Of course, we hoping it wasn't him. But we was searching for that automatic, for that right now news of saying Nip is gone or Nip is in critical condition. You know, like we was looking for something at that very moment.
Right.
So at that moment, at the heat of the moment when we found out, we wanted to know at that moment. But I guess now, with it settling in and us just like reflecting on it, we see the fault in that. But like at that moment, we can't lie, we wanted to know at that moment. Even though we say now, you know, we could have waited, but if we just go back, if you go back into your mind that at that moment you can't lie to think you wanted to know. Like even though it was gonna be bad news, you wanted to know the news. You wanted to know the truth.
You did, and again, I say this, but Nip was a celebrity. If this was any regular person, which it happened, we wouldn't be talking about it. You know what I mean?
That's not true, because when we saw the police choke out Eric Gardner, we talked about it for a while.
Because why?
Because we seen video of it.
Exactly.
But see, that's a completely different case. That's a completely different case.
My point exactly.
There was no, hold on. Outside of the video that was captured of Eric Gardner, were there any other store cameras around? There was nobody giving first-hand accounts as to what happened in that situation. The police could have easily created a narrative in that situation. And we got a lot of information from that one video. A lot.
Mm-hmm.
From the beginning of the conversation to the altercation to his untimely death. We got a lot. Now, if you would have just recorded Eric Garner laying lifeless on the ground and saying these cops killed him, but I don't see nobody on him, I just see paramedics touching him and trying to revive him, that video does nothing for us. It does absolutely nothing for us.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying in this one instance, yeah, the video may have not, but in other instances, you can't say the video has not. It's like when you have the video of the cops who shot the guy who was attending like a mentally disabled person who was lying in the middle of the street playing what looked like these toys, and the cops were surrounding him with guns, and he was trying to explain to them he's harmless. There's no need for. But without that video, we don't know that.
What was the video? The video?
I'll send it.
Was the video prior to the shooting?
The video was prior to the shooting, yeah.
Then I said that. I mean, again,
like I'm saying, I'm not disagreeing with you as of the timing of the actual video being taken. But there is an account. There is a record of it, and I know the idea of keeping. But
why though? And that's what I'm saying. Not everything has to be a record. A man laying lifeless on the ground, a man being dead and lifeless on the ground is record enough, right? Like we don't have to record that. That says nothing to us. It says nothing. What could the police say in that situation that you had to record that and put that out there? Like this is you mentioned before about
that video that the person posted is how most of us confirmed it was Nips.
No, we didn't confirm it through the video. We confirmed it through people reporting that the person in the video was Nipsey.
Exactly.
So let me ask you this question: if you didn't get the video, but then they confirm again, see, this is kind of the point that I'm making. Though we seen the video, we didn't know for sure indefinitely until we saw the reports. Right? So if we didn't get the video and we just waited for the confirmation in the report, we still would have known that Nipsey passed without ever having to see his lifeless body on the internet. Agreed. So regardless of seeing the video, we still had to wait.
Agreed. And maybe for me, maybe the video is more harder for people to watch than maybe myself, because I've seen similar videos, some that were way more graphic.
Bro, honestly, bro, it's not even about how hard it is to watch. It's just about the integrity. It's the principle. Some people, it's not about not having the stomach for it. It's about your integrity and what's right and what's wrong. That video does nothing for us. It does nothing.
I don't see it as wrong, because again, what's wrong for this one instance, because it's Nipsey Hussle,
No, it's wrong. Period. No. Absolutely not. I highly disagree.
I'm saying it may work for someone who's not Nipsey.
All right, I hear what you're saying as far as solving a crime. First and foremost, without any example, I don't know of any hood videos that help solve a crime of somebody being lifeless on the ground. That's just me. I've never seen a 4, 5, maybe 6-second clip of somebody being lifeless and that helps solve a crime. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I've seen videos of incidents. I've seen other angles of situations that have helped, but I've never seen a video of somebody laying lifeless and that just be the video help solve a crime. I don't see the importance in that, and I haven't found an example that have shown importance in that. So if we can have a conversation about it, I would like to have an informed conversation about it with examples of situations where just seeing somebody lifeless was able to help us solve some crimes.
I can't give you an exact example of that particular moment, of that exact clip that you're talking about, because that's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that regardless of when and where the video is being taken, that it's important for people to continue to make record of our narrative and to be able to control that narrative rather than let outside forces control it. Because
but what narrative did that video show us? What narrative did that help us control?
I'm not saying it created a narrative, but it's a part of a narrative.
I get it. So my question is, what did the video help us control? What narrative did it help us control?
It helped us as a people confirm who it was.
But we didn't know until the reports. So before we found out,
we knew before the reports.
No, we didn't. We just saw somebody in red shirt and a towel over their head. We was like, "Oh, please say it's not Nipsey."
And
nobody knew.
And the people who were there had already confirmed it for us.
Not in the video though.
No, in the Twitter timeline. And I know that may be like, well, that's not the video. But that's because the video on itself doesn't tell the whole story. The people that were there finished the story for us.
But that's what I'm saying. But see, that's what I'm saying. Again, if we just wait for people to report it on the timeline without the video, we can confirm that. We gotta stop. First of all, we gotta stop pretending like news don't spread fast, man. Like, if somebody's there, it's gonna get out to us instantly.
News spreads fast, but sometimes the news don't spread fast in the light that's proper for us. Again, the mainstream media isn't the same media that we are shed in the best light. Again, I go back to my fact of all the news outlets reporting it was because of gang-related violence, and it wasn't that.
Once again, that video didn't prove that to you. So how did the video help the narrative?
But you're missing the point because you're staying on the one video. My point that I am making is that when those videos exist, it does not create the narrative.
What videos? I'm still waiting for the videos that you're circling your point around. Like, what examples do you have that you formed your opinion on? Because I don't know.
No, forget the examples. Because you know as well as I know. Because this is how you started the conversation, which is you want people to stop recording these sort of videos. You didn't give an example. Because the only example that we're talking about is Nipsey's example.
No, listen. If you go on Worldstar enough, or any of these hood video or websites, you'll see videos like that. It may not, like you said, it may not be celebrities. It may not be people that are well known, but people do disgusting acts like that and just record people either sitting there dead or dying, knocked out, like in the most compromising situations. And again, what service do they have to us?
Again, it doesn't need to have a service immediately. It really doesn't need to have a service immediately. Right now, we don't know. Nip's been dead only a week. I don't know if they did a funeral or not up until this point, but he's been dead a week. We don't know what any impact his thing is going to have right now. We don't know the impact of that video. We don't know the impact of the trial. We don't know the impact of his death yet.
I know the impact that the video was going to have. It's going to be very tough on many people that unfortunately have to scroll and see that. I don't see any positive impact that video could possibly have. I can only see the negative in that situation.
I think the positive of something like that, and this is what I feel like is the disconnect between what you guys are having, is the positive for that video is so temporary. Like when I say it's so, I'm talking within a minute temporary. Like I was saying before, when we initially found out that 3 people were shot, and one of them might have been Nipsey. Still not enough information. So what did we do? We went on our phones and we tried to look for information. We saw people talking about Nip was wearing this. Okay, still not much information. But when that video came, and this is how temporary. I can't talk. This is how temporary that video was convenient, because it gave us that little bit of information that could possibly be Nipsey. Right? And then that's where it stops. That's where it stops.
But that's the issue that I'm having, because it sounds very selfish for us to say.
It is selfish.
That's what it feels like. It feels very selfish for us as a culture to say, you know, we wanted to know so bad that we're willing to say that there is a positive in showing that.
There isn't a positive, but I'm saying
I don't even call it selfish. Selfish is not the word to use.
We were hungry to know something, and we used that video to fulfill that void, that lack of information, for that very moment, and then it stops.
Exactly. I'm saying it's like when JFK got shot. It's like everybody was watching TV when that happened, and the news stations replayed it on TV when that happened. Then everybody wanted to know what had happened. You know what I mean?
But see, that's the selfish part, though. Because your desire to wanting to know
how is it
all information or... Go ahead.
I don't hold any cards. What I'm saying is I don't hold any cards in the outcome for his family. I don't hold any cards in the outcome for his community. I don't hold any of that. It's not. I don't personally know them, so I can't be selfish towards them. What it does is it allows for the community who loved Nipsey, not on the level of his family, maybe not on the level of his daughters and Lauren and everybody, maybe not on that level, but it gives the people who are around the world who love Nipsey for what he did, for what his music, to get that confirmation, or, you know what, watch the video to even say, you know what, that's not Nipsey.
Let me take it a step further than that, bro. Because when I say it's selfish, I'm not speaking about towards his family. I'm talking about towards our community. I think it's really selfish for us to, just because of our desire to want to know something, just for information, that we're willing to pacify an action such as filming someone's lifeless body in order to get it. When we have a bigger responsibility to how we police our information, I don't want it in the very thing that. The very energy that came from that person recording that video is why Kodak Black did what he did. Everything does not deserve to be out in the media. See, there's pros and cons for this freedom of...
separate things.
No, it's two separate things, but it comes from the same area. We all have this... I'm not going to say us all. I'm going to say there's a good majority of our community that feels like we have to put everything out there. And everything does not deserve to be on the internet. See, just because you have the right to do something doesn't mean you should. Doesn't mean you should. That's where integrity is in place. You have again, that's why you have shady business practices and good business practices. You understand? Is just because you can do something doesn't necessarily mean you should.
I feel like we kind of have to be honest with ourselves. Like, we have to really not even think in our mindset right now. Think in your mindset from a week from today, from last week.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're saying it doesn't deserve a pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
Totally agree. It does not deserve a pass. But
I was looking for confirmation. I'm not gonna lie. If there was a video, I was gonna watch it.
Okay, that's where I'm getting at. So, when you found out that news, not thinking the mindset you were thinking at that time, right? Mm-hmm. You wanted to know. You knew people was talking about what Nipsey was wearing, where he was at. He was at his store. He was in the front, but they wasn't sure if he got shot. When you found out, you went on your phone, right? And you looked for information. When you saw that video, right? Right after you finished watching that video, you started feeling the way you felt right now. I know you're gonna say yes. You felt guilty.
Yo, you're asking me?
I'm asking.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Of course.
But did it give you insight that you did not have beforehand, that you were looking for before you saw that video? And I'm not saying it deserves a pass.
Once again,
Regardless of
I
you could've
1,000%
really
agree with you. It definitely gave me insight into something that I didn't know.
But that doesn't give it a pass. That's what I'm trying to explain.
I would have rather, if you're asking me, I would have rather not had that insight.
So then why did you search?
No, I wanted to know what was going on. I didn't search for Nipsey's lifeless body. I searched for information.
Nobody's gonna lurk for that.
Right, but that's my point. You're saying we wanted information. Wanting information and, again, justifying someone recording something is two separate things. Information could come in different forms. It doesn't have to come in that. I wanted information.
I get you.
Just not that.
I'm not justifying it. I'm telling you, like you said, it can come in any kind of which way.
Mm-hmm.
That just happened to be the way that we saw it. It shouldn't have been.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been in any other kind of way. But that's how we saw it.
Right.
If there was a choice in life, if this was a play as you go kind of game in life, and you was like, I don't want to find out how Nipsey died. I want to find out when the reports come out, not by a video of his body on the ground. You can't choose that. You see what you see because you seeked it. It's like when people be like, I don't ask questions to find out answers I don't want to know. It's like we didn't know how we were going to find out the information, but that's how we saw it. That's not justifying it. That's just saying how it was.
But I said, hold on a second. I'm going to tell you why I feel like it. When I say justifying, this is how I came to that stance. I said it was wrong. Y'all said you disagree. See, now there's a difference between saying, you know what? For me, it is wrong to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I still seek the information. But that's wrong.
It's the wrong way to give the information that you were seeking.
Right.
Exactly.
But that's my point. But y'all are saying, no, there's a positive to that. There is no positive in that.
No, but
there's no positive in you actually seeing the video.
No, there's no positive in you actually recording it and putting it out there.
There was no harm in it.
That, bro, I highly disagree with that. First and foremost, this was a man that was beloved by many. There was immense harm by you putting a lifeless video. Would you want to see somebody that you can love on the internet with their lifeless body out there? That you'd feel some harm to that, right?
No,
what if somebody that you cared about that wasn't somebody that was a family member, that was a friend, or not even a friend, but somebody that you actually respected and idolized from afar, that you never met? There's no harm to seeing their lifeless body on the internet?
Listen, I agree. I personally wouldn't want to see that if it was somebody that I knew, but I wouldn't blame the people if there was a video and other people watched it. I wouldn't go, you know what? You're a bad person for recording that. You're a terrible person for watching that.
Bro, I think everybody that recorded that is wrong. Not just the person that did that one particular video. Anybody that recorded his lifeless body is wrong. I spread that across to any and everybody. There's no place for that.
Again, it's not their fault.
It's not their fault that they pressed record and decided to post it on their social media?
No, it's not. They were doing what
please.
they thought was recording and reporting. Not saying that they had to go on the phone and be doing commentary like everybody else was doing. I can argue that the same people that were recording did less harm than the people that propagated the Dr. Sebi conspiracy theories. Did less harm.
I disagree with that.
No,
I highly disagree with that, bro.
Conspiracy theories not only provided misinformation about something they couldn't even prove, but they wanted to connect the dots and play reporter.
Yo, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. If you put people that, again, I didn't feel Tupac's passing, like people that came before me, but if you was to show them a picture of that, I don't know if I still to this day don't know if it's real or not. But if you was to show them a picture of Tupac's autopsy, that video that they had floating on the internet, and you put that in front of them, you mean to tell me that picture is not going to do more harm to them than that conspiracy theory of Tupac still being alive even to this day?
Yeah, it does less harm.
I don't see that, bro.
Watching Tupac, looking at a photo of Tupac's autopsy does one thing. And again, I'm playing devil's advocate with the scenario you just gave. In that case, it confirms what we all knew. Tupac is dead. But playing with the conspiracy theory that Tupac is alive plays with people's emotion. It does more harm than it does good.
I don't. I disagree with that. I think seeing your loved one in a certain state does more harm than somebody still believing that they still here.
Finality is more reassuring than leaving things out in the open.
I'm starting to see where Diddy. I'm not saying I'm agreeing, but I'm seeing that's where I was starting to see where you were trying to go. Diddy speaking on the fact that what you really just said, finality. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Finality. Yeah.
Finality is better than is kind of better than just kind of egging people on and having their emotions played with. But at the same time, DWAYNE is saying visually it can do just as much damage.
I'm saying it can do more.
Or more.
I'm saying it could do a lot more. If somebody, and again, I'm not speaking for everybody. Everybody might feel different. Everybody might feel a conspiracy theory might hurt them more than physically seeing their loved one in a compromising state. I don't believe it though. I think seeing your loved one in that compromising state, and if you can put yourself in their shoes, would hurt you more and have a longer impact on you than somebody having a conspiracy theory. I think that Dr. Sebi documentary, the conspiracy theory surrounding it doesn't have a bigger impact than that video.
With his death.
It doesn't, but it doesn't have a bigger impact than seeing his lifeless body on the ground, man.
It does, because you know what? It regardless, the outcome is that he's still dead, but then people are starting to think, it does more mental damage, where it's like, okay, so now the government's still out here killing people that are in our neighborhood. Like, it's propagating the idea, again, deeper than just Nipsey got shot, Nipsey's dead. But now you're putting ideas into their head that can fester and branch off into things that become more dangerous.
I get what you're saying. You're coming from the angle of psychological warfare, and
right.
I'm coming from the aspect of emotional impact. I'm not coming from psychological warfare, because if that's the case, we could talk about everything else outside of what the conspiracy theories are. We could talk about how a man dying in a parking lot that he used to hustle at, get arrested at, sell drugs at, and then bought and created a positive business at, and then got killed at, sends a bad psychological message to the hood. So we could talk about psychological warfare, not just from the government, not just from conspiracy theories, but just from the incident itself. But I'm not speaking about that. I'm talking about emotional impact.
No, for sure. And you know what's funny is when it all happened, I remember telling Ariane, I was like, you know what, everybody's coming out with these conspiracy theories. And it's cool, they can connect the dots all they want. But I said, watch. It's going to be something really petty. Because us as a people, I was telling a friend like this the other day, I said, as a person, you can't just, and I know this is going to sound crazy to say, but you can't just die. You know what I mean? Like, the idea in our world that we live in isn't just like, oh, you died, that's it. That's unspectacular. People love to see a spectacular death. Unfortunately.
I don't know what that is.
Okay. I think it's more on the fact that people just don't understand. Like, people will say, okay, everybody dies at one point, nobody lives forever, blah, blah. People get that aspect of it, but we still don't understand it at the end of the day, I feel like. And I feel like that's why people do it, because people always need answers. They always need to know, like you said, they need to know why. And a lot of the time, you just don't, and that bothers people. They don't know. So it's like, that's where all the extraness comes in at.
Yes, and just to explain a little bit more what I mean about when I say spectacular death, because I don't want it to come off as like, you need to die spectacularly. But people like the narrative when someone dies in very peculiar circumstances. Something that they can create a spectacular narrative around. You know what I mean? Malcolm X dying, getting shot while he was preaching in his church. Spectacular. Martin Luther King getting assassinated. A spectacular death. You know what I mean? Something that they could take the narrative and sort of flip it into a story.
Well,
I remember telling Ariane, I was like, watch, this Nipsey Hussle thing, he's going to have died by something really dumb, really petty, that means absolutely nothing. And this is me reading everybody's conspiracy theories about Dr. Sebi, because everybody really wants it to be the conspiracy theory with Dr. Sebi, because that's a spectacular storyline where people can go like, see, the United States government's still out there killing people over something so petty. You know what I mean? But it turns out he got shot by somebody he knew in his crew just because they had a small beef and he couldn't be around him anymore.
All right.
I mean,
you know, it's just it's a crazy thought, the spectacular death theory that I have, but it's not one that isn't like true. Biggie and Pac died spectacularly because of the narrative that now surround their deaths. The West Coast East Coast beef, that's more lore than their actual their actual dying's pretty big too. But the story surrounding it, they were beefing. Pac got shot in an elevator like a year before or 2 years before, and then they were beefing, and there were the diss songs, and then they died. That's the narrative.
Well, I feel like, again, that yeah, you can say that, right? But it also has to do with their stature, has something to do with their prominence, has a lot to do with the power that and the reach that they have in the world, because the circumstances that the people that you just named, the circumstances of their death happens all the time, every day. In fact, in the world, you can find somebody being shot up in a car. You can find somebody being shot up in the street, broad daylight, right? But it's the prominence that the people have, and them not wanting to let that go is what makes them sensationalize the situation.
Right, that's a better word. Sorry, sensationalized death, because people can die very there was an article today about a guy who was looking to poach a rhino, who got stomped out by elephants and then eaten. Right, and then eaten by lions. That's a sensationalized death. The only reason we're talking about it is because he was trying to poach a rhino, and then things sort of flipped for him, and then he got eaten by the wildlife he was sort of, hunting. You know what I mean? So it's like the only way that a person of civilian status ever gets their death recognized is usually through a sensation first, and celebrities get mourned regardless of how they die. And the reason why we're so hurt by Nipsey is, yes, he had a huge impact, but at the same time, we cannot negate the fact that he's a celebrity. It was huge.
Well, it's funny how I've seen people with bigger celebrity didn't get the kind of coverage that he did. To me, the reason why it's being sensationalized the way it is has less to do with his celebrity and more to do with his work, like his real work in the community. Is why we seeing it take flight the way it's taking flight. I feel like there's people that have died with bigger celebrity that are not getting the type of love. They might have gotten the type of coverage, but they're not getting the type of love that Nipsey is getting, and it has a lot less to do with his celebrity and more to do with his work.
Yeah,
I think
but
that's a.
But let's not dwell. I know, Munch. You wanna?
I feel like that's a good way to kind of end it on a more neutral note. I'm gonna pick it up a little bit because I want to talk about Endgame a little, just a little bit. I know we talked about it last week. I know, and the week before that, and the week before that. But I just want to rub it in that like Avengers tickets still better than Star Wars. No shade. I like Star Wars. Production's a little upset over there, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
You do know it's still old Disney, right?
No, but it's different.
Because I guess it's different, same thing.
No, it's different because it's Avengers. Okay, they can be under Disney, is all of that, but like I'm an Avengers fiend, So if my Avengers surpasses something like Star Wars, I'm going off about it.
Well, just so you know, Star Wars tickets haven't gone on sale yet, and this is the last of the new trilogy. So
they can try, okay? They can try to climb up there and get all of them, them numbers, them pre-sale tickets. But we're talking pre-sale. We're not talking the initial drop of the movie, Because I feel like it's gonna skyrocket even more when it comes out. Because then people are gonna talk about it, and the people who weren't woke beforehand gonna go see it. So I ain't worried about that. You know?
Yeah, no, I agree. Look, I'm excited to see it. I'm going with you guys to go see it, so I'm super excited. IMAX, reclining seats, Gonna probably try to sneak some Popeyes into it.
Well, a little bit. I don't think it's reclining seats.
No, we're going to Kips Bay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's reclining seats. If it's Kips Bay IMAX, it's reclining.
Okay. I gotta check. I'm really not sure, but that's more personal kind of thing. But
yeah.
When it comes to, what are your like theories on like how it's gonna end? Because I mean, you can't really say spoiler because we ain't seen it, so I mean, it's not really a spoiler. So, but it's like,
I love the theory, and I'm gonna hold true to this theory until the movie's over of Ant-Man going up Thanos' butt and expanding.
I mean,
the movie would be over.
I think that was just more of
like,
a joke. That's not really gonna happen.
Nah, that has to happen. Look, Ant-Man can end the movie in like 10 minutes.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Look, I mean, okay, so in the last one, right, everybody was on Star-Lord's butt because technically he kind of messed up everything. Like,
he messed up everything.
Good. But now people are like, we low-key should be kind of happy because we got a second movie out of it. So they not wrong. I mean, we did get a second movie out of it.
I guess we got a second movie out of it, but Star-Lord done messed up.
I hope they make a joke. Well, there's three things I want. One, I want to see that what they're gonna do with Stan Lee. I want to see what they're gonna do with that. Like, if they're gonna put anything up in there. What that's gonna be like.
The movie's gonna end, and everybody's gonna come back from the dust pile, and it's just gonna be one dust pile left.
Wow.
And they're all gonna be standing around the dust pile crying, and then it just ends.
That's very sad. I hope that does not end that way. That's so depressing. Like, bruh. I would rather just see a picture of Stan and, like, I'm not trying to see all of that. But what was I saying? The first one was, I want to see the Stan Lee tribute. I want to see if they do make a joke about what you was talking about with the whole Thanos and Ant-Man thing. I want to see, because, they do sometimes listen to us, and put things in there that we want. Yeah. Sometimes. And 3, I want to see because I feel like someone's going to leave us, and I'm not emotionally ready.
Many people are going to leave us. I mean, a lot of the first phase people, I have a feeling are going to not be with us anymore. A lot of the A-list actors, so you got to think of like Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Scarlett Johansson, Jeremy Renner. Like, all of those people, I think, are not going to be with us anymore.
Well, the top 3 people that everybody's talking about is, of course, Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America. Those are the 3 that people are most skeptical about that they feel is going to come back.
Is Ant-Man even supposed to be in the next one? Because wasn't he trapped because of the whole...
In Endgame?
Yeah.
Didn't he come back in a movie? It was a filler movie or something.
His filler movie, because no one cares about Ant-Man.
Yeah, his movie, but he was trapped after all them people died.
He got back somehow.
I'm trying to.
I don't know.
So many movies.
No, his last movie ended where he got trapped when Thanos, snapped his finger, and half the universe died, which was some of the people that died was the people that helped him get back into, I forget, whatever they call it. And he got trapped because he was like, they were supposed to bring him back, but they had died with the whole thing with Thanos.
Right. But I could have sworn there was a scene where he just like, somebody was like, oh, I want to introduce you to someone, or it was some corny like that, and then he was in the scene, and then the movie ended. It was either a cut scene or like an ending. Bro, I can't remember. We have to do our binge. Speak on it.
Yeah, we gotta watch. I mean, let's keep it a buck. No one cares about Ant-Man. This is why I
don't care about Ant-Man.
He's the
main.
main.
Talking about him going up the butt. Now you don't care about Ant-Man.
I mean, somebody got to do the dirty work. You know what I mean?
I mean, he gives us the last chance to even get our peoples back.
Look, there's a reason all of his toys are still on the shelves, because there's no kid want an Ant-Man toy.
Well, they're gonna learn today that how much Ant-Man, because it's just like I was about to say Doctor Who. It's just like Doctor Strange. People sleep on him, but he the one.
Doctor Strange is cooler than Ant-Man.
Low key, but still, I'm just saying, like, he's still like one of the underdogs that people really don't pay much attention to. Like, I feel like they don't talk about him much, and he has such significance when it comes to it. So I mean, I'm just saying, you know, there's usually the underdogs that come in when it's like, I guess the end game, like we call it, and the underdogs.
I did see a movie this week, though.
You seen what?
If we're still on movies, I said I did see a movie this week. A new movie.
Oh, right, you did.
Speak on
I
it.
saw Pet Cemetery,
You said
and it was
doo-doo.
absolute garbage.
You said it was doo-doo. I remember.
I'm surprised because the original Pet Cemetery is so good, such a classic.
It is classic.
And yet this one seemed to fail monumentally on every aspect of the movie. You know, it was just disappointing. But you know, there was that. I didn't get a chance to see Shazam this week like I wanted to.
I want to see that.
Yeah, there are a couple of movies. I mean, look, we're in blockbuster season. This is it.
Yeah, I'm ready. Like, there's so many movies in 2019 that I'm ready. Like, I was like, I knew I was gonna have to get my money ready because there was so many movies coming out. Oh, what about you? Speaking, I know you have some theories on Endgame. You don't have any theories on Endgame that you feel like
How it ends?
Like how it's gonna end, or like what's gonna happen? Who you think's gonna leave? We had like a whole like 45 to hour conversation.
Me and you.
About when the first trailer came out, or the first teaser, I should say.
Oh, that was before Captain Marvel came out, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. I completely forgot our theories.
It was a whole lot.
I don't know, man. I think everything I said, y'all pretty much touched on. I don't know who's gonna come back. I know the obvious people have to come back. The ones that have movies, clearly, like Black Panther, Spider-Man, everybody.
Has to come back.
People that don't have
Gotta come back.
a standalone movie that I think is going to come back. First of all, I think everybody's coming back.
Yeah, at least for.
Yeah, I think all the newer characters,
Yeah.
but older. I think Tony's done. I think Cap is done. I think Thor's staying.
I do think Thor is staying. Cap and Iron Man is definitely going to be the ones that may not stay.
Yeah, they're not. I don't think they're gonna.
Especially after that tweet that Chris
What
Evans.
Chris Evans got left to do?
Huh?
Let's be honest. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Chris Evans is not a good actor. He is low key whack.
He's really not that
The only thing he got going for him right now is Avengers. Think about it. What else has Chris Evans ever done that
He
you can go,
gave
yo,
us
I like him?
a
Go
good
ahead.
Cap.
Okay. What else? What else?
They
he
don't
did?
matter.
No, I agree with Daddy. I don't think he's like a top-notch actor. He's not
Like-
Chadwick Boseman.
Oh, so if
He-
we're
yeah,
going
he's
to talk
not.
about. Huh?
No, I'm saying he's not even Robert Downey Jr. So what he gonna do after this?
Listen, he gave us something. He didn't give us nothing, and he didn't give us trash. So let's give him credit for that, at least.
He didn't give us trash. I mean, he did give us trash once. I mean, he was the Human Torch. You remember that? I don't think you remember that.
That's
Oh yeah,
like,
the Fantastic Four.
that's something we
Exactly.
all agreed that we would just never talk about.
Yeah, he gave us Cap. We forgive him for that.
Yeah, Cat was good enough to like
He gave us Cap.
overshadow all of that. Okay.
Wasn't Michael B. Jordan? He was a torch too, right?
Yeah.
Hey, he was, and I'm
And he
never
gave
gonna
us
forget
Creed,
that. 'Cause
so
that
we gonna
movie
let him
was
pass for that.
awesome.
We got him.
He gave us a great Killmonger.
True.
He did give us a great Killmonger.
True.
See,
Yeah.
Fantastic Four is trying to destroy careers. That's what it seems like.
Or no, it's actually making. It's like you start bad and then you redeem yourself.
Is that
That's
the
where
message?
everybody's starting. So like, and they eventually do good.
But
So.
is that the case for everybody? Because we named 2 people, and there's 3 other Fantastic Four members.
Well,
Russian
Miles Teller played. Miles Teller plays Mr. Fantastic in the reboot with him, and Miles Teller was nominated for an Oscar. So not
Well, he was already
everybody's
a good
career-
actor prior to,
Yeah.
so I
he
feel
was.
like either way he would have been fine.
Ooh, I'm ready to be messy because okay, so we was talking about this. If we talking about actors, right? We was talking about this in our group chat, right? And I still stand by my word. So we was talking about actors who are able to be like chameleons. Is that how we labeled it? You know, people who are able to just shift in different characters
role.
without you. You're right. Without you realizing.
We spoke
That-
about it on the podcast last week too.
Yeah, but it was like really small.
Oh, okay.
But which is still gonna be kind of small too. But I just want to bring it up since we're talking about actors, right? I wish Nate was here because he's the one who kind of gave me the most pushback on this. On the fact that I said that Denzel Washington
Oh yeah, right.
isn't much of a chameleon. A chameleon. Gosh,
Yeah, I mean he's not, cause I mean it's
He's not.
Denzel. Every movie he acts in, he's Denzel.
exactly.
You know,
You know?
I said last week that was the case, but to be honest with you, I gotta give Denzel some credit, man.
He's a good actor.
Denzel is amazing. So Denzel being Denzel is fantastic.
It is.
Just like
It is,
Samuel
for sure.
Jackson being Samuel Jackson is fantastic.
But it's just,
Right.
and I wouldn't put him above certain people.
Like we was comparing him to
The guy who's playing Joker.
Joaquin
Phoenix.
yes.
Not gonna lie to you, I'd watch a Denzel movie before I watch a Joaquin Phoenix
That's,
movie.
no, but we're not talking about that. We're talking
What
about
Joaquin
their
Phoenix movie
ability
we
to
talking
shift
about?
between
Because
I'm
her,
just speaking generally. I'm not talking
her
specific.
is amazing. Okay.
Again, not speaking generally, because I can go back and forth of what like movies are better, but generally, I think I enjoy Denzel's movies better. But that's not your point. I know. I'm just making a different point.
I'm just
I
saying.
prefer Denzel. But good.
But I'm just saying. You know, if in terms of people who are able to adjust to
And
different
blend in.
characters, I would not put Denzel
I agree.
on the top of the list.
I agree.
But he's a great actor.
I couldn't say I agree without first saying how amazing he was.
You have to.
I have to say he's amazing. I have to say he's amazing first.
that's like-
I feel guilty.
That's general knowledge. Like, everybody knows he's great.
Yeah.
But now since we know he's great, usually we gotta pick at him now.
You never know what's popular. I posted something on Twitter today. I posted there was a video that I saw of Whitney Houston and Brandy singing. So I tweeted out, popular opinion. Disney dropped the ball by not making Whitney a Disney princess. I felt like she should have been the original Black Disney princess in the 90s, right? I felt like we went the entire 90s without having a Black Disney princess, and Whitney should have been a part of that. And this girl retweeted it saying, that's not a popular opinion. And to me, that blew my mind because everybody that I've spoken to about it all said the same thing. Yeah, Whitney should have been a Black princess. Out of everybody, she should have been a Black princess.
I mean, I would.
Yeah, but nah. Here we go. I'm gonna be controversial. This is what we here for. We're gonna be controversial.
Okay.
Whitney should have been a Black villain.
Ooh, I would have totally been for that too.
I wouldn't mind that.
I would have totally.
Yo,
been for
she
that
would have
too.
killed it as a villain because she would have been
Like an
she would've
Ursula
been
type of
empathetic.
villain? I wouldn't
Yeah,
mind.
she would have been empathetic with a great voice. She would have been like, "Ooh, who am I watching? I like her more than I like the person."
But that's not controversial. I feel like as long as we get to hear her sing, I'm good with it. I'm good with
She
it.
should just been in a Disney movie. Is your point?
She should have just been in a Disney movie, yeah. Period. But for me, preferably a princess, because I feel like you give so much credence to these princesses, and I felt like the best voice was Whitney, and they didn't give it to her. They dropped the ball.
I'm just glad we eventually got a Black princess. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and the one that we got is great.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, and the actress that played her and sung, that was her voice. That was her real voice. She's amazing.
Are we talking about Princess and the Frog?
Yeah.
That haphazard mess that Disney said, "Here you go."
Yeah,
Are you happy
it was
now?
a sympathy throw. I agree with you. It was
I agree.
it was a sympathy throw.
I
It was like,
agree.
oh, you guys want a Black princess? All right, here you go. I totally agree with that. But I mean, we got it. So I mean, I think we should have.
I think we should have a lot more different Disney princesses. You know,
Have you seen Moana? Moana's amazing.
it's a great movie. I love it. It was a great
Movie. I was very nervous it was going to be a very cheesy movie because they were just going Disney when it came to their movies. They were just going down. But like, it was very great. They took their time with it.
Between Nat and Coco and like Disney's had some success over the last couple of years.
Nah, I wasn't really. I ain't really rock with Coco like that.
Okay, so I come confession. I haven't watched
Coco.
Coco because I'm scared I'm gonna cry, and I know I'm gonna cry because people
Nah, yo,
keep
Co-
talking about it.
Yeah, I ain't
Yeah,
rocking with Coco.
Coco's the jam.
Yo, Coco is gonna make me cry, and I don't want to watch it.
Coco
'cause
can
I
have
know
a
it's gonna
seat,
make
man.
me cry.
Why you don't like Coco?
You talking to me or Munch?
I haven't seen
You,
it.
Oh. It's not that I didn't like it. I mean, I say the same thing about Lion King sometimes. About like just certain scenes. It can have a seat.
I mean, we have
I'm good with it.
Well, who was the first one to give us that emotional? Was it Bambi to give us that?
I ain't cry for Bambi. I didn't care for his mother getting shot.
That's crazy.
I never cared for Bambi. They could have got Bambi at the same time, and I would have shed not one tear.
That's crazy.
They could have got him 2 with 1 bullet. I would have been fine. I did not care. Honestly,
That's crazy.
I felt more sorry for Pinocchio than I did for Bambi.
I'm totally on the opposite fence of that.
I'm sure
Not
most
one
people
tear.
are. I just didn't care for Bambi. I mean, his mother getting shot was like, okay, like,
And
all right. I seen. You know what probably did it for me? I was so desensitized by it because I was such a fan of National Geographic, and I would always watch those shows that showed like lions eating animals and stuff. So when I seen Bambi's mother get shot, I'm just like, that's regular. That's what's supposed to happen. But when I saw Mufasa die, that was different.
That was different.
That was different. Because you had life lessons. What did Bambi's mother really do? What did she really talk about? She didn't talk about nothing. I don't remember nothing she said.
Wait, Bambi was like young,
So what?
little.
Maybe alright. His mother wasn't talking about nothing in that movie. I didn't have no emotional attachment to Bambi's mother. None. What was I supposed to feel sorry for? I'm sorry.
Y'all, that's
Bambi
it.
that was
mother.
but that was the old
Sorry,
Disney formula. The Disney formula then was like kill the parent, put the child through some sort of turmoil so that they can like go through something. But where
I heard we might
nowadays,
be getting that in Toy Story 4 though.
yeah, there's a moment in the Toy Story 3 trailer alone where I just want to like shut off all the lights in the room and just sit there and contemplate life. It's a moment. It's a moment when he's like sitting there talking to little Bo Peep, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't remember it being this hard." And being a millennial that's 28, I can feel that. You know what I mean?
I think that's why you feel it so much. Because if someone who wasn't a millennial watched that, they would just be like, okay, he's going through something cool.
Right. But
Right.
since
They
you was
not
there
gonna
from the
know.
beginning, it was all simple in the beginning, and now it's it hits
Yeah.
different. That was meant for
Like-
you. It wasn't meant for the younger kids.
It wasn't.
Exactly. It was like, man, yo, Woody, I understand. I don't remember it being this hard either.
It just came out of nowhere.
Yeah. So yeah.
Bruh.
But I heard they're gonna.
Yeah.
I heard that Woody's a goner in this movie.
I don't want to talk about it.
If it happens, I promise you, I'm never gonna watch another Toy Story movie.
I mean,
I promise you that.
anything after it probably be brutal anyway.
Yeah, like, but this would be the end of it though.
Yeah, exactly.
This would be the end of Toy Story.
They chose to make something else, it'd be trash, so it
Facts.
wouldn't really be much of a reason to watch it anyway.
Right.
So,
Can we make a quick segue really quick because I'm super excited. All week I've been getting flack from these Nick fans.
Oh boy, here we go.
All of them always commented like, "You guys weren't the only ones." My friends are like, "Oh, you guys are gonna miss the playoffs." I'm like, "I'm not worried about it. Like, we're gonna make the playoffs." The only people that were worried about us making the playoffs was Knicks fans. I know we were making the playoffs. I kept
What?
saying this.
I'm trying to understand what Knicks fans was worried about the Nets making the playoffs.
I think
Everybody
it was,
everybody that kept mentioning y'all gonna miss the playoffs. Ain't nobody from Brooklyn was worried.
No,
We knew we
no.
making the playoffs.
it was okay that y'all made it. We were saying we
Uh-huh.
weren't going to make it far. Like,
Nah.
you can
People were
make it.
saying, I got receipts. I could show people saying we would not make it.
He wants so
Again.
many brownie points.
It has nothing to do against the actual Net franchise.
I don't know.
It has to do with the Nets fans.
Well, it have to come down
And
to us. Why they
my
gotta
key
suffer?
example is the last text
Mhm.
when you sent bragging that y'all beat the best team in the NBA,
Uh-huh.
but yet you didn't mention that their best player wasn't playing.
I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters that he wasn't playing because they're already in the playoffs.
Okay,
Everybody
but
keeps-
if
everybody keeps saying we not gonna
Giannis played, you know the outcome would have been different, right?
I don't know if it would have been different.
Well, we gonna see.
I
I
don't
mean,
remember.
what's they seeding? They might see them in the playoffs, right? Oh no, the Bucks are first. You're not gonna see
We
them.
number 6
It's
now.
not settled yet.
It's not. 'Cause
It's
it's like 3
settled.
more games,
You
right?
want to now? You
Miami.
want to know why it's settled? Because there are 2 more games. Miami's back 1, and if the Nets win tonight, which, quick note for those who aren't watching, we are up by 13 points in the 4th quarter, which we are going to win. Miami has no chance, and we already own the tiebreaker with Orlando. That's why I was saying I'm not worried. They can't catch us. We in. Now the question is, which seed are we gonna be 6th, 7th, or 8th? But looking at it now, I probably think we're gonna wind up with the 6th, which means we're gonna play whoever's the 3rd best team in the Eastern Conference, which I don't know who that is.
That's
but, you know,
I think that's either. I think it's Toronto.
yeah, I'm not worried about playing them either.
Y'all would be currently right now. Y'all would be playing the Sixers.
Not worried.
Sixers are 3rd now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna lose.
Yeah.
Right now,
I'm not
If y'all play
even
the
a little
Sixers,
bit.
y'all are getting destroyed.
Y'all gonna lose.
I'm not even a little bit worried.
I'm gonna be watching those games so happily. Like I'm gonna just be sitting there waiting for that final score. Even if y'all win the first one, I will be sitting there with you watching the game, ready.
Bring it.
Just
I mean, it sucks that it has to be the Nets that eliminate Dwayne Wade, but look, play better. Oh,
That's
that's
cool.
it. Play better.
See, this is what I talk about Nets fans. You want to talk about? You know, Dwayne Wade is one of the greats, but you know he has the end of his career. But you want to mention, oh, we eliminated Dwayne Wade, like you beat him in his prime.
No, I know why he's saying that, which is why I'm not feeding into it. I'm for sure not gonna feed into the nonsense. I've already conceded. I've already said congratulations to the Nets fans. I will say nothing
I
else.
apologize to Gabrielle Union and the boys, but you know it's like.
Why you
Wait, but bro, why are you apologizing to Dwayne Wade and his family when Wade is sitting on 3? He's sitting on more than y'all got in your franchise.
You know, it's true. He has had a storied
And
career.
you're not getting one this year.
No, I'm not taking anything away from Dwayne Wade. I'm not.
Not one in franchise history.
You know.
Not one.
And I think after our parade
tough.
in June, you know, we'll all look back on it like, wow.
Wait, bro, you didn't finish that. You didn't say what year.
This year.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to confirm that you were on drugs while you were on the podcast.
I just, you know, it sucks that it had come down to either us or the Miami Heat. I mean, I don't want to see Orlando in the playoffs. No one wants to see Orlando in the playoffs. They whack.
Actually, that's not true.
Win.
I think Orlando, just like the Nets, are playing very good down the stretch. Y'all are just playing 2 different styles of basketball. I actually would like to see
one called good basketball.
I would actually like to see a matchup between Orlando against Philly. I think they match up better. I would like to see y'all against a team like Toronto.
I'd love to play Toronto. You know what? I'd even say I'd like to play Milwaukee.
You do not want to see me. Bro, listen, the win that y'all got
I'm
yesterday,
so confident.
that was because
It's fool's gold.
it was fool's gold.
It's
Because
fool's gold.
Giannis wasn't playing. Matter of fact,
Y'all
Ogden wasn't playing.
Y'all barely beat these dudes, and Giannis wasn't playing. So if Giannis was playing, you gotta forget about it. It was gonna be a wrap. It was
But
gonna be a wrap.
our superstar right now is probably. Did you see the article that I sent over in the middle of the week? No one responded to it.
No,
Hold on for a minute. Hold on. You said your superstar. What superstar do you have on your
know
team?
you know
you have no. You have an all-star on your team, a replacement
Superstar.
on an injury. You have no superstar on your team. There's no superstar on the Nets. None.
D-Lo's a superstar.
No, he's not a
He's the
superstar.
Not even
No, he's
close.
not. There's a difference between an all-star and a superstar. You don't have a superstar.
We have a superstar.
You have no
No, we have a
superstar.
superstar.
No, you don't.
But,
No, you
but
don't.
I'm saying,
Negative.
I bring up the article because there was an article that was ranking the top 5 players in every position.
That article don't mean nothing. ESPN,
I'm just saying.
you seen some of ESPN's rankings, right? What that do? What do that mean? That don't mean nothing.
You know, you're right. In the long term, it doesn't really mean much. But the fact that D'Lo was ranked 3,
bro, he's
Point
not.
guard, bro?
But bro, listen.
Number 3 out of who?
That's what I'm saying.
out of the whole league.
No, bro. No.
Hold on.
He's not. He's mistaken.
Who made this list up?
He's mistaken.
I'm not mistaken. I have the article.
And that's
They rank D-Lo number 3 out of the whole league,
No, they
and you
didn't.
co-signing that? Come on.
They didn't.
Absolutely.
They named
See,
him the number.
that only strengthens my fact about Nets fans, cause you not gonna sit here and tell me D-Lo is the 3rd best player in the league.
No, that's not even. You gotta be honest, bro. They're not.
Is that what the article said?
That's not what the article said. They didn't.
Right,
They didn't say he was the third best player in the league. They said he's the third best player and third best point guard. First of all,
That's what I meant.
third best point guard in this free agency in the summer.
No.
Oh, he's a free
that's
agent
not
after
what they
this year?
said.
Yes, he's
That's
the.
not what they said.
You sure?
Positive.
I would hope that's what they said because they could get more credit than that.
I'm gonna get it right now.
He's not even the third best point guard in the whole league.
Positive.
He's not even the best third point guard in the whole league.
I'm trying to see. Yeah, we got so many different group chats, man. I don't even know which one you sent it to, bro.
I know.
No, I got it.
Organize it by name.
It's pulling up now. The name of the article is. I see Kyrie on this list as number 1, so you may be right.
Maybe right.
Yeah.
So if that article is right, he's either D'Lo either got to be better than Kyrie, Stephen Curry, Damian Lillard. That's 3 right there, and I tell you for a fact he's not better than those 3 right there.
You know what? I'll give it to you. The article is 2019 NBA free agency ranking the best 5 position players, best players at every position. So it is.
Yo, when I saw that article and I'm looking at the people that's behind him, I'm like, of course he's ranked 3rd. Look at the people that's coming behind him. Can you name the 2 people behind him, please?
Yeah, Malcolm Brogdon and Dragic.
It's only right that he's at that position right now. He has to be, bro.
Oh man!
Look. All I gotta say at the end of the day is Knicks fans can have their fun, but we're in the playoffs. We're the best team in New York. We have the best player in New York. And as much as y'all want to be like,
see, this is what I be talking about with Knicks fans. It's like,
but listen, I will concede and say yes, bro. You do have the best player in New York. Yes, he is. To me, he is. D'Angelo Russell is the best player.
This is his championship right now.
It has to be.
This is his championship.
There's nothing else that they can win this year. Nothing. Not a playoff series. Nothing.
I think D'Lo probably wins best comeback player of the year too.
I can see it. I can see it. He deserves it. I feel like he's had an incredible run to get. If y'all make the playoffs,
we are making the playoffs.
Like it's expected of y'all to, then yeah, I give it to him. I for sure would give it to him. I just really want y'all to stop at that point. Like, don't go any further than that. See, y'all think comeback player of the year means MVP, and it's unreal to me. And y'all think playoff berths are championships. It's unreal to me.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna win MVP, but I will not say we're not winning the championship.
Yo, bro, honestly and truthfully, I know you better. I know you, and I know you just speaking as a fan. I know from a logical standpoint, you know that the absurdity that's coming out of your mouth
It's definitely fan
is
dialect.
at an overflow. I know you know that. So I'm entertaining it, but I know you know that it sounds absurd. Y'all are not doing anything this year. Y'all are probably going to get maybe one close loss, but that's about it.
He said one close loss?
Yeah, one close loss.
I guarantee whatever team we wind up playing, we're going to win 2.
We'll give you guys an overtime. Just one.
And then
Y'all might even fight for an overtime period. You might get extra 5 minutes in the season. That's about it.
Whatever team we play, even if we lose, I'll give you, we're losing, we're winning no less than 2 games.
No less than 2 games.
No less than 2.
Who do y'all think y'all playing? The Magic in the first round? Do you think you're going 4th seed, 5th seed? Or you gonna play?
We're gonna be playing the 76ers, and I'm not worried.
I want to go to one playoffs game. I want to see how the tickets are looking for the playoffs. I want to go to one. Only reason why I'm excited for y'all to make the playoffs.
I mean, you know,
like $5.
Oh no, for sure. We can definitely get like easy tickets.
Yeah.
Easy. We can scalp them tickets.
They'll probably be free if Jared.
You might even get that. What was that net play? Dudley? He might give you some tickets.
Buy one get one free.
That's true. Dudley might be outside giving out tickets. That's a fact. That is a whole fact. That's a whole fact. He probably got about 1,000 tickets right now to give out.
Facts.
Easy, and that's at its least. But I will say this though, regarding y'all making the playoffs, I'm excited because I get to have New York basketball in the playoffs again. So I'm excited because I get to be a part of the playoff atmosphere, go to the Barclay. So I'm excited for New York basketball.
It's not gonna last long, but
it's gonna be like a blink. It's like if I go there, it's like walking through a revolving door.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
That's how the
quick.
playoff experience for the Nets are gonna be.
But it's.
Now, here's the thing. I know you guys are saying this because for so long you guys saying we weren't making the playoffs. What happens if we don't lose? What will you guys say?
I'll be. Yo, are you kidding me? To have a champion in New York would be absolutely incredible. I would not care if it came from Brooklyn. I don't care. Listen,
you're not winning no championship. That's
we know that. We know that.
I'll bet my whole bank account that you're not winning no championship.
That's not gonna happen.
That's how much. I'm sure you're not winning no championship. You can forget about that.
I for sure don't think y'all winning. I'd be happy if you did though. I would be. I ain't gonna hold you. I would be. I'd be mad excited. You'd still be one behind us, but I'd still be mad happy. So as long as you still one behind us, I don't care if you win this championship. Man, listen, win. Knock yourself out.
Alright, I gotta say so.
Because if by some miracle they got to the championship and they played the Warriors, Kevin Durant could go down with an injury for the whole season and they still wouldn't win.
Yeah, Curry's gonna put up 60.
They still wouldn't win.
Curry got contacts now. Didn't we hear about that? Like
he wasn't seeing straight for 10 years.
He wasn't seeing straight, and now that he is,
that was
crazy to me.
It's over for y'all.
That was crazy.
You mean the best shooter of all time was seeing 2 different baskets this whole time? This whole time he was shooting in 2 different. It's crazy. Yo, and it's funny because the same night that he put his contacts in, right? He did this. I can't even describe how amazing this pass was to Kevin Durant. He spun around on the defender. Yeah. Did you see that?
Yeah, that was crazy.
And he threw it with his left hand, and it landed perfectly to Durant. Just like, thank you. If this is what we have to look forward to with Curry with contacts, it's going to be scary.
Definitely watching.
It's going to be scary.
We got through a whole party just for that one game.
Oh, for sure.
It's going to be great.
I mean, he'll have to. Let's be honest, guys. He'll have to play D'Lo, the left-hand assassin. So.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk down to the Barclays and see if I can get you some free tickets. All right, there.
For sure.
I'm right down the block from there, so I just walk up there and see if I see Dudley, see if he giving out some free tickets.
And they courtside too. They not ceiling tickets. They courtside. They can't even sell courtside tickets. That's crazy.
Courtside, buy one get one free.
That's a fact. Buy one get a couple free. Matter of fact, bring your whole family. You got a family of 5. They make that's how you know when you bad when your franchise start making exceptions for ticket sales. Whenever you start saying, you know what, if you buy 3, I give you an extra 7.
I'm trying to see what those season passes look like. They probably so cheap.
I was on the because I wanted to see Dwayne Wade's last game in the Garden, right? I'm only gonna mention that one time. I'm not gonna mention it again.
Because we had this conversation that you shouldn't talk about.
Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about it again, right? So I looked on the ticket sales and I was watching the ticket prices go up. I'm like, man, this is getting out of my price range. It started at 80. I'm like, all right, cool. Then it shot up to like 120. I'm like, it's getting kind of crazy for where I was sitting. And by the time I was ready to buy the ticket, it jumped to like 300. And I'm like, that's crazy. So I was like, you know what? What smart person would do is I would go to the other franchise. It's still in New York, right? You know. So I was like, you know what? I'll go from Walgreens or Walmart to Family Dollar to see if they got a similar product, right? I can enjoy just as much, right? And look, it was there. I seen cheaper tickets. I mean, $30 tickets.
Wow.
I'm like, this makes no sense. This is Dwayne Wade's last game in New York, and you got a $30 ticket?
Wow.
I'm like, this is crazy to me.
Can I get answers on that day?
Yeah, the main answer is we're not predatory like the Knicks.
Wow.
The Knicks will charge you an arm and a leg for a team that won 11 games. And y'all think that's okay?
Yeah, I do actually, because
this is why y'all
buy it first of all.
This is why y'all are out the playoffs.
But you know what's so funny though, bro?
That has nothing to do while we out the playoffs.
That's selling out has nothing to do with that, bro.
It has everything to do because the fan base is complicit and the ownership is like, they'll do it anyway, whether we good or not. So why do anything?
Yeah, but that's not the reason why we out the playoffs, though.
That's the reason, trust me. It's the biggest reason.
Why y'all not selling tickets is what we used to have an answer.
Well, if people don't want to come to the next game, it's fine. We in the playoffs.
Yeah, you sound just like Jared Dudley.
Yeah.
You sound just like Jared Dudley, my brother.
Yeah. If they don't want to come, that's on them. We in the playoffs.
I keep telling you.
Yo, bro, it's so funny how you keep saying y'all in the playoffs, but y'all still last place as far as tickets.
Yeah, it's our
Yo, bro, y'all last place. Yo, the Suns are selling more tickets than y'all, fam.
Again, it's okay. Because
Stop saying it's okay, because it is not okay. It is not okay.
You know, I want to make. I need
the
to
Suns
like.
aren't in the playoffs.
I need to make a
Are
meme.
they?
Like I need to find.
We're number 10, by the way.
format
Sorry,
to
we're top 10.
where- Huh?
No, I was telling Daquan we're top 10, and we in less games as well. Continue.
I was just saying I need to make a meme like where it's like a person is on a float and they're trying to stay above water, and then like the float is titled, "But we're in the playoffs though." But they're still struggling to stay afloat. Like that's what's keep. That's your only support. But it's not gonna last long.
I
It's
guess,
not.
but I mean, again, at the end of the day, we're in the playoffs, and they're not. It don't matter that we sold less tickets than them, because I don't
Yo,
care
bro,
about that,
you know-
because we in the playoffs.
You know what your explanation and these ticket sales are telling me? It's a very simple conclusion. I came with it in like 3 seconds.
We like winning.
And no, that's actually the opposite. It's actually a 180 of what I was about to say.
What I was gonna say was,
Yes, you made the playoffs, but no one cares.
Until
There's
they-
not
until
enough
they lose.
care about y'all making the playoffs, because the second worst team in the NBA is in total attendance. They're 26th. Y'all are 29th. 29th. There is only
Ooh.
the Grizzlies and global teams that are under you.
Again,
That is
And,
nuts.
and you know what's crazy about it? The Nets moved from New Jersey because they had attendance problems.
Because they wanted to.
and they're in downtown Brooklyn,
That's a
and they
fact.
still having attendance problems.
These are facts, bro. You guys have a 83% average as far as capacity. The Knicks, I'm sorry, I didn't want to do this. We're about at a 95. We're about 95.
Might work.
We're at about a 95.
Might work.
About a-
Oh, and we're not in the playoffs, but continue.
Yeah, we're the worst team in the league, by the way.
Continue.
no.
By
I
the way.
agree. I agree. Well, what can I say? There are not a lot of smart people in New York.
Says okay. Wait.
I can't make people suddenly smart.
Wait, don't you always try to like categorize your Nets as like the team of New York? Like you don't even try to separate it in like boroughs.
No,
it's
I
just
said-
New
I know,
York
I-
overall, right?
Right. I think we're the best team in New York.
Oh, okay.
But I can't help that, the fans who decide to be Knicks fans aren't, smart enough to
That's
understand
how you justify.
good
No,
basketball.
I think Daquan's actually. I think he's. Bro, listen, you're 1,000% right. You are the best team in New York right now. You are the best
know
team.
that.
Technically,
You are the best team in New York. Again, but that hasn't translated into people caring.
That's fine.
It's not fun. If it was fun, Jared Dudley would not be asking people to come to the game.
I mean, y'all bringing up something that he said back in January?
And it still holds weight. You're 29th.
All right, cool.
But you know what else that says? No one listened. So
Back in January, the playoff standings weren't finalized. In about 58 seconds, we're about to clinch a playoff berth. So I'm not worried about it. It's a good
and
game.
no one cares. Look, I agree. You guys are doing good in New York. Fine, right? But you're getting as much love and attention and attendance as the Liberty.
Cool.
So you might as well let the Liberty play at the Barclay and you play in Westchester.
The Liberty will eventually be playing in
hope
the
not.
Barclays Center. Don't worry.
I hope not, because that's an even bigger
You're right.
black hole.
Because, Madison Square Garden and that whole thing was not the wave.
They was getting tickets. in
Nothing.
Madison
They
Square
were
Garden.
getting nothing. That's why they were kicked out.
They were getting
Twice.
tickets.
Twice.
So what do you think coming to the 29th ranked team in attendance is going to do for the Liberty? You think bringing them is going to make you, what, 15? Get out of here. You're going to drop to 30.
We gonna see.
No, you're probably going to drop to 31. USA and world basketball is probably going to go ahead of you guys. And they only play every 4 years.
I told you before, the Nets are a mediocre team, and you're never going to have the chance to even scratch the surface of getting the love that the Knicks have until you at least win one NBA championship in New York. Until that happens, you're always going to be second to the Knicks. I don't care how many playoff berths y'all get or whatever. That's the way it's gonna be. For real, that's the way it's gonna be because y'all don't have the history that the Knicks have. I don't.
You sure don't. Last year you were 29th.
I don't. Look, I'm not disagreeing. That's why I said there aren't a lot of
28.
smart people in New York, but that's fine.
It's not really helping your case.
Year before that, 27.
I'm not arguing.
Bro, y'all getting worse. What's going on?
Which by the way, we just beat them by 12 points, so we're in the playoffs. Don't worry about that.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised in a few years if they move y'all again and move y'all somewhere else.
Yeah, they gonna move y'all to like Rhode Island or something. They not gonna keep y'all in Brooklyn.
I'm serious because that's the whole reason they moved them out of New Jersey because they had attendance problems, and y'all in downtown Brooklyn, y'all still having attendance problems.
Not for nothing, Chicago sells, man. I'm looking at these rankings. I went back all the way to 2013. They've been either number 1 or 3 since I've gone from 2019 so far to 2013, and it's been consistent. They're top 3. Brooklyn easily has gotten worse because you guys, at one point in 2013, y'all were like 16. Y'all were pretty good. We were definitely 7, but y'all was 16. Y'all have gotten worse, bro. Every year y'all have gone down. Next year again, you're gonna be 30, and you're gonna be.
I just want to point out. You know when the last time we made the playoffs was?
So you said when was the last time you made the playoffs?
Yeah.
I don't remember when the last time the Nets made the playoffs.
In 2014 was the last year we made the playoffs.
Okay.
So that going down correlates with a bad team. I'm fine with that. That's why I'm not worried. I'm not worried.
Okay.
Yeah, see, when I hear certain fans talk, I can tell what team they're a fan of, right? Like what they celebrate, just by what they celebrate, right? Like when we celebrate playoff berths, yeah, you could tell we're either a Knicks fan. If we live in New York, you're a Knicks fan. You're celebrating a playoff berth. You guys barely make it, right?
Yeah.
When I hear people celebrate D'Angelo Russell, oh, you're a Nets fan. You're celebrating a decent All-Star. And we just spoke about sensationalizing things, right? We just spoke about that. We just had this conversation. How do you go from just barely making the All-Star team, right? Because if I'm not mistaken, he didn't originally make it, did he? He was an injury replacement. Yeah. So how do you crawl into the All-Star game, but automatically jump to the top of the mountain of superstardom?
Wait, he's a superstar, though.
Yeah, I'm confused.
He is a superstar.
This is what they're saying. It's not the truth.
What?
That he's a superstar.
He's not a superstar.
These is his words.
Yeah, he's not a superstar.
He is a superstar.
You know what DAQUAN is like right now? You know what Diddy's like? Diddy's like the mother that has that one really, really, really bad kid, but only sees the good in him. She doesn't want to see nothing that everybody else has. She only wants to see the good.
I'm picturing like with those kids that like are mad aggressive. He's hitting his mom, and she's like, he's just going through a hard time.
Right.
Like, up for all types of.
She blames herself. I didn't give him his snacks early enough.
He's cranky.
Yeah.
That's.
Bro, stop it. He's trash. He's not a superstar.
Look, yeah.
We get that you're a proud dad, but stop.
Y'all can laugh all you want, but we're in the playoffs.
I give them credit. They play hard. They made the playoffs, but what I said rings true.
Like, what longevity does that sentence have? Like, you made the playoffs. What, like, I feel like what
when was the last time the
have,
Knicks made the playoffs?
That's not the question, because we're not in it and we're due to. We can tell you that. Like, I'm not scared to say that.
This is their championship, because that's what Net fans they always do. Oh, when the Knicks, we're not talking about that. I'll say it to start it off. The Knicks are the worst team in the league.
Thank you.
Good. We got that out the way. Now let's get back to the Knicks.
We're getting to the infection, which is the fact that you keep saying you're in the playoffs. That's the infection that we need to get that out, because that's your only.
Well, y'all keep saying that we're this and that with the Knicks. I'm just saying, like, let's keep it a buck. Y'all were trash this season. Accept it. Don't try to defend the team.
You know what's so funny? But you know what's so incredible? What's incredible about that is, despite us not making the playoffs, we're still in a better position than you are.
But wait, he's gonna say they're in the playoffs. Go ahead.
But the playoffs doesn't put you in a better position.
You said you're in a better position than us?
Yes.
Bro, y'all, I'm not even gonna get into this because y'all team is like whole trash plus more. Like,
bro, that sounds like nothing. How are you better than? How are you in a better position than us?
Yo,
you're deflecting.
So we're in a way better position.
Bro, you're deflecting. Get to the point of telling me how.
That's gonna let the longevity.
No, we have better young guys.
No, you don't. Stop it.
Okay.
Who are your young guys?
We don't have enough.
What?
We don't have enough time to talk
you
about
guys
that.
aren't going to talk. You're not going to talk objectively because you're Knicks fans. But who are your young guys? Seriously.
Okay, so let's go down the line of
Let's go down
our
the line.
young talent, right?
Please.
So you choose your first young talent.
No. This was my question to you. You choose your talent.
Okay, so I off the bat, I'll just say Kevin Knox.
Kevin Knox? Oh, man. What did he do this year besides get hurt?
I didn't. That's not the
That
conversation.
wasn't the deal.
The conversation is
Mm-hmm.
we're going young player versus young player.
It don't. Okay. If I'm going to give you a young player, I'm gonna give you Chris LeVert.
Chris LeVert,
Mm-hmm.
bro. Chris LeVert has a brighter future
actually
than Chris.
score. Absolutely, because again, I go back to what did Knox do this year besides get hurt?
I'm not. So first and foremost, look. When I judge basketball, because I actually really love the sport, I don't go by statistics. When I say someone's better, I'm going about what I'm seeing.
I don't.
Chris Knox, you're talking about better young prospect, and again, keyword prospect, which means we have to also focus not what
he
they're
ain't no
doing.
prospect. I'm sorry, he is in the NBA. He is not a prospect anymore.
How is he? Yes, he is a prospect.
No, he is an NBA basketball player.
Hold on a second,
he
bro.
will be judged to the same length as anybody in.
No, you do not. No, you do not.
Yes.
No, you don't, bro.
you will.
You don't judge
I
him
will.
against every pro in the NBA. No, you don't.
not?
There's
Why not?
classifications when it comes down to certain players. You have prospects and you have veteran players. You have role players. You have specialty players. You judge players based on their respective position. He's a prospect.
I will give Knox being young. I am not giving him being a prospect.
He's a prospect.
He's in the NBA, and now he has a full season under
He's a
his
pro.
belt.
That actually, that first and foremost, that is an actual position that people sign people to. They actually, that's an actual role that they give players. Like you're a prospect, right? So that means your minute.
I know what they give. What I'm saying is, we are a year in, and what has he done for the Knicks? Because guess
Again,
what? The
I'm
Knicks
not
have had-
judging
the Knicks
him
have had a
based
lot
off of this
prospects.
year. I'm not judging him off of 1 year. I'm basing it
The Knicks
off
have
of
had
him.
a lot of prospects.
I'm basing
and
it off
they've
of his
all
skill set.
failed.
I like him. I think he's a. I like him as a facilitator better than I like LeVert. I like him better as a pick and roll shooter better than I like LeVert. And that's what the NBA is now, is a pick and roll shooting league.
And
I like him as a.
again,
I like.
What evidence do you have for any of this?
Dude, I watch games. What do you mean evidence? I watch games.
No. Because the way the NBA is recorded, and we know this.
Mhm.
How do the stats back this up?
Again, you talking about stats, and I'm talking about how they play. I'm not talking about
I don't
stats
care.
because
I
we've
don't
seen
care
LeBron
what
put
you
up 28,
Listen,
9, and 8.
I don't-
How's that
I don't care if
translated
the
into
kid
how
got-
his team's performing?
I don't care if the kid got a good personality. How does he put numbers on the board?
Bro, that's not how we judge players here. We don't judge players based off of the statistics.
Clearly, you guys do.
You know what you sound like right now, bro?
LeVert-
You sound like Paul Pierce.
LeVert is a rookie.
No.
How long he's been in the NBA?
A few years.
Probably like 2. I think like 2 years.
2 or 3.
2 years?
2 or 3, yeah.
Cause I don't see too much of a big difference between their stats.
It's not going to be a big difference. But I don't even want to.
I'm looking at these stats right now since they want to go
Over stats, right?
I don't see no big difference between their stats.
I don't see
And,
it.
and Knox is a
looking-
rookie.
Let's see. I'm looking to. Let's see. What did Kevin Knox do this year? He played 72 games. Started 54 of them. 28 minutes a game. Averaged 12 points, 4 rebounds. Mediocre at best. But let's keep going down. Let's go to advanced. Let's go to his advanced stats. He had a PER of 8.6.
Now we're going to the analytics.
With a true shooting of 47. Yeah, we're going to the analytics because this is how you actually measure what a player is doing.
No, that's not
You
how
don't
I
just
do it, 'cause I'm not a computer.
you don't just go, oh, he is a nice guy.
No, I watched him play, and I'm seeing him play in the game, and he plays better than LeVert. In certain areas. If I'm judging, if I'm dissecting his game, yeah. Overall, he plays better. But playing better doesn't always equate to having better statistics, though. So that's why you can't really judge that.
This is
It's tough.
true.
Let's see. So this year, we're talking Karras had a pretty good year. He got what, 13. He got 13 a game. He only played 20 or 38 games. That knee injury really killed us. So I can't
please,
lie
I
on
don't.
that one.
Please refrain from injury.
Hold on. We're going on a per of 14, so he's already 5 up from that, and a true shooting percentage of 50% at a usage rate of 24% per game. I'm gonna go back to Knox again, who played more games and had more chances. So I'm gonna go back. A per of 8.6 with a true shooting percentage of only 47% and a usage rate of 22%, which means he was used just as many times as LeVert was. And he played more games than LeVert and had more chances. And you're going to sit here and tell me that Knox has a brighter future than LeVert?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Because last time I checked, who has the best PER? Isn't that Boban?
Who?
The big man from the 76ers?
I actually don't know who that is.
Okay. Well, that kind of proves my point. I mean, just because
But
you have...
again, we're not talking PER by itself. I'm giving you multiple stats that make up
I understand, but my whole point is I gave you just one statistic, so I didn't want to be long-winded with my explanation, so I gave you one, right? So I'm saying it's easy to have the stats manipulated. People always say men lie, women lie, numbers don't, but that's not true. Numbers do lie. They can be very
Numbers
deceptive.
don't lie.
Numbers can be very deceptive.
How so?
I just gave you an example.
Numbers don't tell the whole truth.
Right, I just gave you an example.
Okay.
Boban has a higher PER than a lot of athletes in the NBA, but that doesn't mean he plays better.
Right, but you named one stat. No one says men lie. No. People don't say men lie, women lie. Number don't. It's numbers.
Right, numbers.
So you have to
but
look,
it doesn't necessarily have to be numbers regarding that one situation. It could be many different situations. Numbers can be deceptive in many other areas outside of just statistically. Just because you have a hard numbered fact doesn't mean that that's speaking the entire truth.
Right.
Because a player can a final score for an NBA game could go from 9 to 4. That doesn't mean that it was a close game.
Agreed.
All right, so it's just like you looking at the score and saying, "Oh wow, like dang, them numbers are saying that it was close," and that doesn't mean that the game was close.
No, that one number, the final score, that one number says it was close. Then,
but I just gave you two different examples of two different situations, so it's now plural, so it's not number, it's numbers.
As another person, I'd go into the actual box score, and I'd be able to look and see, oh, okay, you know what, they scored this such and such in the last couple of minutes to make the game a lot closer than what it was. Again, I am not looking at one number. I am looking at multiple numbers. I am looking at how much the Knicks use him, how effective he is, and what his numbers actually are. And from what the numbers are telling me, not very. I don't care about picks.
I just gave you examples of how the numbers are jaded, but you can continue watching them.
Knox is a rookie, yes.
Knox is a rookie, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and LeVert is not a rookie, right?
A 2-year pro, I believe.
So he should be like way ahead of the curve, ahead of Nets.
That's not how that works because we both know that's not how
it never works when
development
you
works.
wear a Nets uniform.
Right,
Wait, but I have a question for you though.
Development doesn't work like that. We know
Yeah.
development doesn't work like that because a player could come in and be effective year one like a LeBron.
Definitely. But like I told you, I said there's not no great difference between their numbers.
There is a big difference in the PER, the true shooting percentage. He's a whole 3% better at his true shooting percentage, a whole 5 points higher on his PER,
and yet he still has a better skill set.
But
how do you measure that, bro? You
watch the game. That's how you measure it.
But I have a question for you though.
Go ahead.
Are y'all in the playoffs?
We in the playoffs, baby. You
okay.
know it.
And I'm gonna just leave it at that because this conversation is gonna go on for another 45 minutes, and it's literally gonna go nowhere.
It can go on for hours.
So,
before we get off of sports, I just want to say my Yankees won 15-3 today, and Gary Sanchez hit 3 home runs. It's baseball season. We back.
If there's one thing that I definitely don't want to talk about, I mean,
you know, No one cares about basketball anymore. It's baseball season, baby.
To each his own.
Baseball would not trump the NBA playoffs. I'm gonna tell you that right
Yo,
now.
as y'all can see,
you can forget that.
We could go on about that because one subject comes and we go on about it for hours.
Facts.
But
And we gonna debate that over here.
We gonna have to end it here because, yeah, that was just gonna be a train that was just gonna be never ending. So, thanks for tuning in, y'all. Episode 4.
Episode 4.
Episode 4. Sorry we had to start on such a heavy topic, but we lined up a little bit.
Yeah, we came
We didn't
full
want to be
circle.
too heavy, you know.
Let's just end it by saying just be positive. Continue to keep Nipsey's family in your prayers. Pray for those that are dealing with this loss. And just continue to speak positivity to the people that you love, man. Embrace them and be kind to each other.
I agree. Keep buying them Endgame tickets so we can keep surpassing Star Wars. That's what I gotta say. You know, I'm an advocate for that.
Yeah, and my last thing is tune into Yes in April, May, and June
Okay, so we can turn
to watch the Nets play. We in the playoffs, baby. Is all I gotta say.
Yeah, I guess Dudley hit you up and told you to put that out there, right?
He did. He
trying to get some customers. But we'll see y'all next week, 5 Sunday. Be here. And yeah.
Next week.
Yo.
See y'all.
Peace.
Peace.